So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever fits for the time of day that you're checking into this video. This practice is going to be a simple chair yoga practice. If you're someone like me who spends a lot of your week sitting at a desk, it can be great to have options that we can access quickly without even having to leave our chair or having to change clothes. So you may see I'm seated here in a chair, there's no yoga mat. There's no props for this practice. I'm going to walk you through the several different yoga postures that you can do in the chair. However, you can always pick and choose those you may want to access later. And as always, your body is your number one teacher. So if something doesn't feel okay in your body, trust your body and either back out of it, or you can even skip that posture altogether. We're going to start, as we do most practices, just grounding in to this space. So if you're seated in a chair, which would be helpful for a chair yoga practice, just allowing the chair to support the back, supporting the hips, allowing the feet to settle in, and just noticing how the chair is supporting you. If you're seated in a chair with arms, you can allow your arms to rest on the chair arms. If not, just allowing the palms to rest on the thighs. Taking a couple of breaths here, sending the breath all the way down to the base of the belly. So bringing a hand to that lower belly can be helpful here. So just lightly to the lower belly. You don't need to apply any pressure. As you inhale through the nose until the belly expands, and we're going to exhale through the nose completely. And taking 4 more rounds of that breath, just like that. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling completely. And your breath may be at a much different pace than mine. That's okay, just going with the pace of your breath. So we're going to go through that just a couple more times. Inhaling. Exhaling completely. And then one more time as you inhale. And then exhale completely. So from the seated position, the first thing that I'm going to walk you through the 6 movements of the spine. So there's been a lot of research in yoga to show the key to healthy aging is really maintaining flexibility in our spine. If you've ever struggled with any back pain, you may recognize very quickly that pretty much everything we do in the body branches out from the trunk, from our spine. So these 6 movements daily can help you to maintain flexibility in the spine. And these are just 6 variations of those movements. There are plenty of others that would give you the same flexion in the spine, including those that would be done on a yoga mat. So we're going to inhale the palms up and overhead. You can allow that gaze to follow if you would like, or just keep looking straight ahead, see what feels best in your body. Allowing that right wrist to come into the left palm. See if you can grow an inch or 2 taller. We're going to exhale over to the left. So we're not thinking about how far we're bending here. In fact, we want to ensure we're not just collapsing. We want to create space along the right side of the body, so we're breathing into the space that we're creating between each of those ribs. So continuing to breathe here. Just a few more breaths. And then on that next inhale, we'll use the strength of our core to bring us back to center. As we then take the left wrist into the right palm, again growing an inch or 2 taller, exhaling over to the right as we create that space between the ribs along the left side of the body. A couple more breaths here. next inhale, using the strength of the core as we come back to center. And from here, we're going to exhale into a twist. So with a twist, the head and neck always come last. So as we exhale, twisting gently to the left. So that left arm may reach behind the chair or just behind the left hip. That right hand may reach towards the left thigh. And we're sending our gaze towards that left shoulder. We're still sitting nice and tall, still getting nice deep breaths. If you can't get a full breath here, backing out of the posture a bit. Really noticing the space we're creating between the shoulders. Breathing into that space. On the next inhale, coming back to center. As we exhale over to the right, same thing on the right side. So we have that right arm reaching either behind the chair or behind the hip. Left hand maybe reaching towards that right thigh. Sending our gaze towards the right shoulder. Still sitting nice and tall, getting those nice deep breaths. Inhaling back to center. As we exhale, allowing the palms to come back down to the lap. I'm going to move my chair just here to the side so that you can see my movement here. So giving yourself some space between the back of your chair and your hips so that you have some space. We're going to do a seated version of cat-cow. So if you've gone through any of the other yoga practices, you've likely participated in that on all fours in the tabletop position. So this is just a version that you can do seated in a chair. So as we inhale, we're going to send the chest forward, head's coming back gently, shoulders coming back. And as we exhale, the spine is rounding, chin is coming towards the chest, and this is why you wanted a little extra space behind the back. So we inhale, chest comes forward, head comes back gently. Being mindful that the head doesn't come back so far that we're restricting the airway at all. So we exhale, rounding the spine, chin coming towards the chest. We'll do this 3 more times, allowing your breath to guide your pace. As we inhale, the chest comes forward. And then as you exhale, the spine rounds. If one direction feels particularly good in the body, you can spend several breaths in that posture. The cat posture with the spine rounded is one that I use frequently when I've been sitting at my desk for a while, on those days where I have to do more typing than others. And then just coming back to your regular seat. I'll once again turn my chair. There's no need for you to turn your chair. I'm only doing that so that you can better understand what I'm guiding you through. So again, we're just going to give ourselves a little space behind the hips, extending out long through that left leg. So we want the foot flexed so that that leg is fully engaged. We're going to inhale the arms up. And as we exhale, we're going to draw our chest towards that left foot. And once you can't come any further, just allowing the head and neck to relax towards that left leg. So you should really feel a release along the back side of that left leg. We'll spend a few more breaths here. So we inhale, chin tuck towards the chest, slowly walking the palms out the leg. Once we're fully upright, the head and neck comes fully upright. We'll do the same thing on the opposite side. So extending out through that right leg, right foot is flexed so that the leg is fully engaged. We'll inhale the arms up and overhead. As we exhale, drawing our chest towards that right foot. And when we can't come any further forward, just allowing the head and neck to relax towards that right leg. Spending a few breaths here. And the next inhale, walking the palms back up that leg. Chin tucked towards the chest until you're fully upright. You can also do a seated forward fold. So you can allow the knees to remain closer together so that the thighs can support the torso, or you can give yourself a little more space, allowing the torso to settle in between the legs. See what feels best in your body. As we inhale, arms up, overhead. As we exhale, coming forward. So you may find that your hands make contact with the ground, maybe not. But once you can't come any further forward, allowing your head and neck to just relax. Spending a few breaths here. Forward folds can often be great ways to reduce anxiety in the moment. So maybe if you've had a particularly overwhelming moment, it might be helpful to bring in a forward fold for just 30 seconds or so. A couple more breaths here. As we inhale, chin tucked towards the chest, thinking about rolling up to seated one vertebrae at a time. And once you're fully upright, the head and neck joins with the rest of the spine. Taking just a moment to reconnect with this upright position. We're going to extend out through that left leg once again. Foot is flexed, so our leg is fully engaged. And then we're going to bring that left ankle to the right thigh. If this isn't accessible for you, that's okay. You can even extend out through that right leg, and it can come a little further down, just being mindful that it's not pulling on the knee. So if you choose this variation, allow the shin to support that ankle or foot, not the knee. We never want to use the knee as a hanging post. So if this is accessible, you have your left ankle on that right leg. You can gently guide that left knee towards the earth. So that left hand is just resting there. We're not forcing it, just there as a reminder. And you can just stay here fully upright. Or you can play around with it with the spine nice and long as you exhale, just coming towards the legs. It's going to create a bit more of a release in that left hip. So just allowing your torso to settle where you need to be, making sure that that right hip is staying on the chair, keeping both hips planted, really breathing into that space in the left hip where you're feeling the release. Next inhale, coming back to upright. Shake that leg out as we extend out to our right leg. So again, you can bring that right ankle up to the left thigh, or if you need to extend that left leg out and find a different position for that right ankle. This is your practice, so tune into what your body needs here. Again, that right hand can gently guide that right knee towards the earth. We're still keeping the foot flexed. Don't want our ankle to just be loose and fluffy here. Our spine is nice and tall. Again, you may choose to stay right here, or you may choose to come forward in that nice long spine, so we're not wanting a rounded back here. Just breathing in to this space that we're creating in the right hip. Continuing to breathe here. Back upright. If you were leaning forward, you're going to shake out the legs as both feet are settled back on the earth. Readjusting in your chair to allow your back to be supported. I'm going to take just a minute or so for our final rest, our Shavasana here. Just never feels okay to me to end a practice without that moment to rest, digest, and breathe the body's experience before entering into the next phase of our day. So sitting here nice and tall, checking in with yourself from head to toe, just noticing, is there anywhere that you can make any adjustments in the body to allow yourself to be more at ease or more supported in the chair. Once you feel settled, maybe you choose to keep the eyes open or send the gaze gently to the floor. Just continuing to breathe, allow your normal breathing to resume here. And again, to invite some gentle movement into the body, maybe wiggling the fingers and the toes, coming back to an awareness of being in this space. As we inhale those arms up and overhead. And then on that exhale, just giving ourselves a nice big yoga hug. Sometimes this also feels really good for multiple reasons. It can feel good in the shoulders. It can also just feel good to extend this love and compassion to ourselves. Thanking yourself, setting this time aside to take care of you. I thank you for sharing in this practice with me. Namaste.